The date is January 14. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says preliminary data from the Jamaica Tourist Board indicates that cruise passengers accounted for over 1.5 million of the approximately 4.3 million tourists visiting the island in 2019. Bartlett made the announcement while talking to JIS News following last Friday's arrival of the Norwegian Cruise Line's flagship vessels, the Norwegian Bliss, which made its maiden voyage to Jamaica, docking at the Ocho Rios port. The minister headed dignitaries and officials welcoming the ship's crew and 5,700 passengers, who each received a complimentary cup of the globally renowned Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee. The visit marked the second time in as many months that a vessel from a major cruise line is making its inaugural voyage to the island. The Data Protection Bill is closer to becoming a reality. Last Wednesday, the Parliamentary Joint Select Committee continued reviewing the recommendations and making all amendments to the proposed Data Protection Act. Technology Minister Favour Williams has set out a robust timetable to having the bill piloted through Parliament this year. The bill mandates the setting up of a data commission to monitor data usage and to enact class action against data controller found in breach of the Data Act. Among the sections under review by the committee was concerns over the registration of micro, small and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, as data controllers.
Stakeholders raised concerns about micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, having to be registered and the cost of registration. Members of your committee also expressed concerns about the likely size of data controllers that will be placed on the register. We were advised by representatives from MSET that the ministry will be guided by the MSME and Entrepreneurship Policy of 2017 in determining the registration of MSMEs. Despite this, we expressed the view that all companies should be registered and the Commissioner should be able to determine subsequently after the establishment of the office the entities that were not required to be registered. One member of your committee felt that entities should not be charged a registration fee for the first registration and the Commissioner should determine subsequently after the first registration data controllers who would be required to pay the annual fee.
Another recurring decimal was the direct marketing option that allows data controllers to send unsolicited information to customers.
One stakeholder indicated that consideration be given to requiring data controllers who operate websites to acquire the consent of data subjects before being placed on call and email lists, and to allow data subjects to be informed that their information would be passed on to marketing companies. However, we noted from the submissions of other stakeholders that data subjects should be given the option of opting out. We had concerns in relation to the obligations being placed on data subjects to opt out of receiving information for direct marketing purposes and felt that data subjects should be given the right to opt in.
In its current form, the Data Protection Bill allows for a one-year transition period. It's expected that during this transition, the administrative parts of the bill will be rolled out. That is, the establishment and staffing of the Commission. United States Secretary of State Mark Pompeo will be visiting Jamaica this month. He will be holding talks with Jamaican and CARICOM leaders. The date and venue has not yet been ascertained. However, it is expected that developments in Venezuela and the Middle East will top the agenda. Pompeo's visit will come 2 years after the man he succeeded, Rex Tillerson, flew into Kingston for a meeting with Prime Minister Andrew Holness, where they discussed critical issues of mutual interest to both countries.
Among the specific matters discussed were strengthening security cooperation in order to more effectively combat transnational organized crime, boosting the U.S.-Jamaica economic partnership, exploring opportunities to broaden U.S. CARICOM engagement, energy security, the economic vulnerability of middle-income countries, including climatic events, de-risking and correspondent banking issues, and of course, the situation in Venezuela.
The U.S. government will continue to support Jamaica's security forces and criminal justice system. It is in both of our countries' interest to work together to investigate crimes, share intelligence, conduct asset seizures where legally and appropriate to do so, and bolster existing anti-corruption and anti-gang programs. In addition to our focus on regional security, as the Prime Minister indicated, we had a very comprehensive discussion on ways to promote increased energy independence, not just for Jamaica, but throughout the Caribbean. And we stand ready to assist with Jamaica and other partners in the Caribbean to explore and develop the resources they have, but also to share the abundance of resources that North America enjoys and the continent enjoys.
At the time, Prime Minister Holness said the talks reflected the long and productive relationship between the United States and Jamaica and signaled the importance of the strong and vibrant partnership that exists between the two countries. The Bustamante Hospital for Children says the hospital is still basking on its first ever liver transplant in the island performed 2 years ago. Described as groundbreaking, the operations were led by a medical team from the United States and involved personnel from the Kingston Public Hospital and the Bustamante Hospital in September of 2018. Head of Department for Anesthesiology and Critical Care at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, Dr. Brian James, says the hospital has received increased inquiries about similar procedures. In the meantime, Dr. James says the hospital continues to offer services outside the island. And St. James has seen a further decline in its AIDS index, moving from 9% in late December to 7% as of January 2020. This has resulted from extensive measures by the St. James Health Department to eliminate the Aedes aegypti mosquito as it concerns the fight against dengue fever. Speaking at the monthly meeting of the St. James Municipal Corporation last Thursday, Assistant Chief Public Health Inspector for St. James, Nadia Burgess, said the department continues to carry out morning and evening fogging activities across the parish. Meanwhile, Acting Medical Officer of Health for St. James, Francine Phillips-Kelly, informed the meeting that there has been one confirmed dengue fever-related death in the parish since the outbreak of the virus, and that some suspected cases of dengue-related deaths are being investigated. Mrs. Phillips-Kelly said that the vehicles that were recently handed over by the Ministry of Health and Wellness have been beneficial to the daily fogging in these communities. Greater emphasis is to be placed on training and educating members of the police force and other stakeholders to recognize and handle domestic violence-related matters in keeping with legislation. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, says it understands that domestic violence is one of those activities that can lead to major crimes, and early intervention is necessary to save lives. The JCF's statement follows the murder of 2 women on Sunday by their partners, one of whom was a member of the security forces. The JCF called the issue of domestic violence a, quote, persistent problem, end quote, that has negatively impacted Jamaica's crime statistics. As such, it urged citizens to utilize the domestic violence intervention centers that were established to deal with all cases of domestic dispute. You can contact the Domestic Violence Intervention Centers at Constant Spring, telephone 876-702-5120 or 876-702-5121. On February 6, reggae fans from all over the world will gather at the home of Bob Marley, which is now a museum to the reggae legend in Kingston, to celebrate his musical legacy of unity, social justice, and freedom from mental slavery. It's also Marley's Diamond Jubilee. February 6, 2020 marks 75 years since he was born. The theme for this year's celebration is Marley's 75th Redemption. Marlon Samuels tells us more.
Happening specially, of course, it's the 75th, so the family is coming on board really, really big this year in terms of their presence and their performances. And it normally takes place at the Bob Marley Museum that we know is Bob's former home and his former recording studio. So that's where it's going to be again this year.
The lineup of artists who will take the stage for the concert is a virtual who's who of reggae acts based locally and overseas.
So headlining the show this year is going to be the Marley brothers, who we know are, international artists. Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, Ziggy Marley is coming to perform in Jamaica. We haven't seen him for a long time. And of course, Julian and Kimani as well. And you have generations of Marley grandchildren who are going to be on stage as well. This is going to be alongside the birthday ambassadors as well as other big artists from in and around Jamaica.
A number of workshops will also form a part of the celebrations.
So normally we have symposiums that normally focus on music, the music industry, that also celebrate Bob's life and his legacy, the contribution that he made to music. So this year we have a kind of diverse workshop that will encourage people through the theme of redemption to understand the relevance still of Bob's, not only his music, but his business ethics, how he applied business to his music to make him become the wealthy man that he was, how his music helped him to rise from adversity. So this can be an inspiration to youths of today, how Bob Marley did it and how we can continue to do it, how we can advance the music industry based on his practices and his influences.
For PBCJ News, I'm Marlon Samuels.
Applicants for learner's license will have to do a road code test effective January 25. The Ministry of Transport says Jamaicans seeking to obtain a provisional or learner driver's license for motor vehicle and motorcycle will be required to do the multiple choice test as part of the application process effective Saturday, January 25. The tests will be conducted at Island Traffic Authority examination depots. Here's how it works. The completed application form, along with 3 identical certified photographs, should be submitted to the ITA depot of choice, where the applicant will be allowed to take the road code test. The application form will be returned to the applicant in a sealed envelope for him or her to submit to the tax office of his or her choice for the provisional license to be processed. At the tax office, the ministry says the form will be vetted and validated before the applicant is directed to a cashier to pay the fee of $1,800 and to be issued the provisional driver's license with a payment receipt affixed. Should an applicant fail the road code test, he or she will be advised by the ITA to return on an appointed date to retake it. Until further notice, resists will be done without charge to the applicant. The Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE combined index increased marginally on Monday despite more stocks declining than advancing. The JSE combined index advanced by 70.96 points or 0.01%. The JSE main market index advanced by 346.27 points or 0.07%, while the junior market index declined by 22.53 points or 0.69%. The JSE USD Equities Index advanced by 8.56 points or 3.72%. Overall market activity states 80 stocks were traded, 32 advanced, 42 declined, and 6 traded firm. The US dollar is being traded at Jamaican $136.46, up by 72 cents. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar is being traded at Jamaican $101.84, down from $104.69, while the British pound sterling is being traded at $173.27, down from $174.94. In regional news, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has begun consultations on the Rousseau Development Plan.
This is a very sincere engagement. I have decided as a Prime Minister not to start any project in his new term unless we engage the public and to share with the public our own vision, and to solicit from the public their views and their aspirations and their suggestions. And we will even go further, because what I'm hoping will come out of this consultation is that we can organize ourselves as a entity, government and the people, to oversee the implementation of this comprehensive vision for the city, so that at every step of the way we are fully engaged, we are fully informed, and we are fully part of the process.
He says the study embraced a participatory approach involving many stakeholders and the general public.
We have decided as a government to both increase and improve on our consultation with stakeholders when it comes to developmental programs and projects which impact positively on the society as a whole. And so this is the first in many consultations that we're having. Here tonight we have primarily the business stakeholders in the city. And of course, we intend in a very comprehensive way to engage other stakeholders who operate in the city: residents, street vendors, the people who sell the fish at the markets, the fresh produce vendors at the markets, every stakeholder, to engage them on where would they like to see the city in the next 20, 30 years.
The development will serve as a tool to assist the GOCD in its macroeconomic diversification efforts by providing guidance for the management of socio-economic and physical development in the island's premier urban center in an efficient and sustainable manner. Two United Nations health agencies have urged Haitian authorities to accelerate investments in clean water and adequate sanitation to prevent death from cholera. The Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization, in a joint statement on Monday, noted that the cholera outbreak that began in Haiti in October 2010 caused an estimated 820,000 cases and killed 9,792 people. But they said due to the hard work of the Haitian government and the population, in partnership with PAHO and other agencies, there have been no confirmed cases of cholera since the end of January 2019. The two agencies said cholera is a disease of inequity that unduly sickens and kills the poorest and most vulnerable people, mostly those who have no access to clean water and sanitation. The agencies say as a result of this initiative last year, 95% of suspected cases were tested. In sports, national senior goalkeeper Amal Knight will soon be the latest Jamaican footballer to play in the United States Soccer League, the USL. Knight declined to name the club while speaking on Hits 92 FM's Girls Sports Club on Monday, opting to allow the team to make its own announcement. With criticisms that the quality of the USL is not better than the local Red Stripe Premier League, the former Wolmer's Boys standout has insisted it's a good opportunity for him. However, the 26-year-old argued that there is room for improvement in the RSPL. And in more football news, reggae girl Khadija Bunny Shaw and her club Bordeaux have advanced to round 16 of the French Cup after defeating Paris FC 5-4 on penalties after a 1-1 scoreline in regular time over the weekend. The 22-year-old started the game but did not take part in the shootout. Shaw has scored 9 goals in 11 appearances for the team. And that's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.